Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Michelle Richmond, an author and winner of the Hull Waters Prize here at Troy University. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, Aaron. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, and I was going to ask, the Hull Waters Prize is an award given out every year for significant contributions in Southern heritage through a number of venues, specifically writing, and that's what you were awarded for. First off, just how does it feel to be recognized for your writing in this kind of way?
Well, it makes me so happy. It's my home state, and the previous winners, when I read the list, I just felt so delighted and honored to be in their company, and it's just and I get to come down south, so it's wonderful.
And that's one of the things. And you aren't in Alabama now; you're in California, correct? But you still carry a little bit of that Alabama with you wherever you go, including in your writing. A lot of people see that in your writing. So talk about how that has kept with you over the years, especially as you've gotten into the career and become an author.
Well, I think where you're from, where you're born, and where you're raised, it just informs who you are for your whole life. And so much of writing is about sort of dropping back into your memories and digging back into your past. And even if you don't mean to be digging, it's just there. So it bubbles up in the writing, whether that's intentional or not. And so when I started out, I was intentionally writing about Mobile and the Gulf Coast and Alabama and also Mississippi, where my parents are from. And as I progressed and started writing books about California, I found that Alabama still made its way into those books as well.
And the transition, it's got to be, at first, probably a little bit of a shock to be in Alabama and then go out to California, obviously, but that must be why it started coming back into your writing, as you're bringing a little bit of that home back with you, right?
Well, I'll tell you why it wasn't a shock, because I was rinsed in New York City.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Between Alabama and San Francisco is New York City, and so everything is easy after New York.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about you had a chance while you're here on campus to talk with the students and share your experiences with them about writing. How does that make you feel as an author to know that you're making a direct impact and seeing students that are reading your work and acknowledging your work and thinking enough about your work to be able to ask these educated questions and be knowledgeable of what you've written?
Well, I loved meeting the students, and this class who put all this together was especially interesting because they had done so much groundwork for months, and they had done a lot of research. So in addition to putting together a great event, they also just sort of knew their stuff, and they were asking me really tough questions I haven't been asked before. So I love that. But I just, you know, when I was an undergraduate, anytime I got to meet a writer was a thrill for me, and just getting to talk to the students about what the business is like and what the life is like and what they can expect. I met a playwright, a script writer, some students who want to go into editing, and it's just and a poet. It's delightful to get to talk to them. That's the best part.
And one of the things that you were able to share with them is your experience and your knowledge, because you've written a variety of different formats. And the students, I know, at the event where they were able to ask you questions, they were able to ask you about how some of those different formats kind of formed where you are today.
Yeah.
And so, and how did that make you feel about being able to share the different things and how you got to where you are at this point?
Well, I love sharing that because when I was a student, we were taught how to write short stories, and we were also sort of taught, well, don't really worry about novels, don't think about that. But that's not true. If you're going out into the world to be a writer and you want to publish books, you most of the time have to think about novels. So I like being able to give them some sort of practical advice about what a writing life is like and how to navigate it.
And of course, you still sort of bounce back and forth between the short stories and the novels. Is that an easy transition to make, or have you got to be in this novel mindset, got to stay in this lane, or can you bounce back and forth kind of freely between the two?
I bounce back and forth. I mean, stories are more fun. They're just always more fun unless I'm in the first 50 pages of a novel, which is great fun and happens rapidly. After that, a novel is a slog and it's hard work. A story is almost always fun, so a story for me, writing a story is taking up. It's hard to get it right, but actually the writing of it is fun, so it's like taking a break from the long form.
And still continuing the career in writing and a few more books. I know they talked about another book coming out here. Got stuff floating in your head. So there's always ideas floating around about things that you're going to write in the future? There's
always something. And I always have too many ideas. I always have over a dozen notebooks scattered around the house. I'll pick them up and realize, oh, I didn't know I wrote that, and realize it was supposed to be for this book. Yes, it's disorganized, it's sort of chaotic, but it works.
And you finally see it to come together on the printed page and get to share it with the world.
Yes,
and, well, I want to thank you for joining us here, and congratulations once again on the Hall Waters Prize, and thanks for joining us here on Trojan Talk.
Thank you, Aaron. It's a joy.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.